case of the ADC. You see, I don't take politicians seriously because they always have a fight about interest. Look at the way Dino Melaye was introducing Peter Obi. The same Peter Obi, during Arise debates, Dino Melaye was taunting. You see them? So Dino Melaye now knows Peter Obi has this charisma. The same Rufai that last year said Peter Obi locked him up. And Peter Obi replied, no, I couldn't have done that. You had to see the way they held their hands hand in hand, kumbaya, and they came in on stage. It's all about interest. These politicians don't die in their war. So if you had killed yourself when Rufai was with Tinubu, it will be on you. The joke will be on. Look at Rufai Rufai. In fact, Rufai Rufai is so close to President Tinubu that it is said that he's the only one that enters Tinubu's bedroom. I don't know how truthful it is. I don't have empirical facts. I don't speak. But they say it's hearsay. And the hearsay I just used to establish the fact that they were really close. But look at him today. It's against President Tinubu. But what am I going to say? There are 5 scenarios. Number 1, internal squabbles. It has started. You've heard Dumebi Kachukwu. He said he holds a place in the party. A lot of people have been abusing Dumebi since yesterday. They will contest about, what is it called? The right of Dumebi as against Nwosu, because Dumebi claims that the court case in February 2023 has said that the tenure of Nwosu should end. Secondly, government interference. They are going to face that a lot. Before you know it, there's going to be moles. People are going to be sent into that party to try to disrupt it. In fact, you might not be surprised that some of the people that are there today, that are in the APC, the question is, there might be moles there. You never know. You can't tell. The third point I would like to make is the funding part. Although I've asked a lot of people that how are they going to get their funding, they say, don't worry, money will always come. It is a sad reality that we practice owocracy in Nigeria, not democracy, as far as I'm concerned. Government of the money, by the money, and for the money. So who spends higher gets the position. That's why we have a country where Nigerian presidency is fast becoming one of the best presidency money can buy. It's how much you can spend it. But to the electorate, please, you have seen these politicians, all of them, those that want to save Nigeria and those that they feel they are saving Nigeria now. They've all been people that have enjoyed from the largesse of this country all these years. The question is, who is in your best interest? And that's the question you should answer at the polls and vote for. Sharpen your PVC and get ready and scrutinize all of these people. I yield the floor.
Okay. When this politics of coalition started, triggered, as it were, by former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir Rufai, in March, I had written a piece in which I expressed skepticism, and then subsequently I followed up on the back page of This Day with another article. At that time, I expressed the optimism that, well, the Tinubu camp is not going to fold its arms and allow the opposition to coalesce, to come together. The objective of the coalition that was announced by Nasir Rufai being to remove the APC and to remove President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from power in 2027. And he had a lot to say that as a founding father of the party, he had been disappointed and that he was embarrassed by the incompetence of the Tinubu administration. His words. And we are trying to contextualize that. However, our skepticism and the skepticism, the dismissiveness of the spokespersons of the president and, the president himself, who, as the months piled up, had spoken about the coalition in more than at least 2 forums, in Benue, in other places that he visited in recent times. What happened yesterday was a major moment in coalition politics in Nigeria. I further say that if you don't like the word coalition, it was a major moment in the formation of alliances in Nigerian politics since the First Republic. And perhaps this is even looking more dramatic than what we witnessed in 2014, 2015. Now, that's the context. Now, what it means is that those who want President Tinubu removed have played grand politics yesterday, showing that they are determined and they want to do it. Now, this is a major test for both the APC and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself. We have always said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a strategist. He is the political master. Chief Ogunlewe, Senator Ogunlewe, refers to him as the owner of the game, as the master of the game. This should be a wake-up call for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It will test the credentials that he has been putting across. That's one. Number two, how does he respond going forward is what is important. Now, in terms of response, we were told that this event yesterday was supposed to hold at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Abuja. But at the last minute, they were told that the Ritz-Carlton Hotel was no longer available due to internal compliance matter. Emphasis, internal compliance matter. Now, who is the owner of that Ritz-Carlton Hotel? That is part of the narrative. Who woke up the last minute? But the opposition, showing that they are determined, moved to the Yaradua Center in Itragan and they had their event. Another thing to note is the quality of the attendance. All the big politicians from the north, with the exception of a few who may still join, you never know. But I see Tambuwal Senator on the screen. I see the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Dr. Dati Ahmed, on the screen. Atiku Abubakar, the Waziri Adamawa, the interim chairman is Senator David Mark, who has been in politics for long. The interim national secretary is Rauf Aregbesola, who, was seen. Irreconcilable rivals of old were seen coming together and pumping hands, and which proves the point, basically, that in politics, even when strange bedfellows come together, what is important is their permanent interest. And that permanent interest is that they want to get President Tinubu out of power. In terms of strategy, I think we should also look at the personality of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not President Jonathan. In 2014, 2015, President Jonathan was always saying, look, if God gives you powers to the degree of 10, just use 1 or 2. Behave like a, like a person who has the fear of God. When some people went to him with proposals that he should change the INEC chairman, he said no. Let the INEC chairman do whatever he wants to do. This is not a do or die process. And we must raise standards in this country. When people went to him to say, let us rig this election, he said, look, if anybody rigs any election on my behalf, there will be trouble for that person. No, I'm just I'm just defining context. I was there. Okay. So I'm not making up. And I was spokesperson.
I know, I'm just asking, did he rig at all?
Official spokesperson for that government. Now, is President Tinubu the same person who will say, well, whatever they do, let them do it. If they do whatever they want to do, I will concede to them. That is part of the conversation.
False starts. Yesterday was can be noted as a definitive initial victory for the coalition. We saw some political superpowers coming together for a huge announcement, and the event can be described as one that was successful, well attended. The speeches that were given struck all of the right notes. It was not just about unseating the incumbent. There were conversations around the economy, around state capture, around insecurity as well, and proposed solutions to move forward. But what I see transpiring is what I'm calling the battle of the trifectas. What is this battle of the trifectas? Just recently we saw what some people are saying is a fait accompli by the APC, securing Lagos State, Rivers State, and Kano State. Kano being the latest development where we saw the resignation of the chairman of the APC. And this makes room for, potentially makes room for the Kwankwansia movement, who we know dominated Kano State in 2023. Lagos State, we see inroads being made there, and Rivers State as well. We know the state of Rivers State and how the president has somewhat assumed control of the affairs there, whoever the governor is and whoever whatever party the governor belongs to, it seems that Rivers State is set to align with the center. Why is this significant? This is significant because some might argue that in 2023, the reason that the vote was so split is because those trifectas. Now, what many people might argue is that the reason why the 2023 election was so divided was because you had a division you had Kano State going to Kwankwasia, Lagos going to Peter Obi, and River State going to President Tinubu. If you bring these three states together, as has been done traditionally, then you do find that it makes for electoral victory. So that is on the APC side. Now, what's the other trifecta that we saw emerging yesterday? It was Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and of course, in my opinion, Nasir Al-Rufai, as somebody who was said to have been a key player in helping President Tinubu navigate through all of the hurdles that were mounted up against him in the run-up to the 2023 election. In this, you have two formidable forces that are going to come together and meet. Now, the coalition still has many challenges ahead of it. As much as yesterday was a lot of fanfare, we even enjoyed a new song from Senator Dino Melaye. And it was convincing. But it still stands to be seen, as critics have argued, still stands to be seen whether this coalition has the potential to attract the interest and the excitement of the grassroots. That is yet to be seen. Minister Festus Keyamo also raised an important point yesterday, where he said that, well, one cannot legally belong to multiple political parties. So we still have the issue of political tourists that are involved in this ADC. Yes, we've seen a number of people decamping. We've seen Senator David Mark decamping, send his resignation from the PDP. We've seen Rotimi Amechi resigning. Abubakar Malami has also left the ruling party. However, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Nasir Al-Rufai, we're still waiting to see what their moves are, because for now they still remain political tourists. How will that play out, and how definitive will it make their role as we count down to the election? So these are some of the issues that I feel that are pertinent as we continue to work our way towards how the dynamics will play out between this coalition and the ruling party.
Rufai don't finally come for Dino Melaye. People that were condemning Dino Melaye and that were condemning Peter Gregory Obi in 2022/2023, all of them are in the hill. In fact, Rufai, there's a video that Rufai is the one clearing road for him as his personal bodyguard. What God cannot do does next is Rufai is someone that have been consistent. Yes, in fighting for justice, talking for the citizens, speaking up for the citizens of this country.